Okay, boys and girls, I will begin as I always do with a very #joyant and jubilant hello. How are you guys doing out there in the trader universe, or any universe you're coming from for that matter? Welcome to another market review and recap. Doug here with Trade with Doug, and as I always begin these with, if you need help with your personal trading, somewhere here on the screen will appear a link. Feel free to follow that link and join us for live trading. Now, perhaps your visitation today includes a tiny bit of enthusiasm, maybe just a tiny. Maybe there's even a little smile on that face, because I got good news for you. The QQQ got invited back to the band. It's a reunion tour that we've got going on. So now, if you didn't follow yesterday's video, we were talking about how we were seeing this discrepancy in the market, which we don't really see a lot. And that's where you had the IWM, the SPY, and the Dow, especially the Dow, just making new high after new high, while the NASDAQ, the tech-heavy growth sector, really took a beating. I shouldn't say beating. Maybe that's not fair. 12%. It was going much lower. And I think what was more important, well, actually, what was the most important thing, is it was a day of reckoning, just kind of it was as we were moving into Monday, because we were pointing at significant areas of support, which I'll show you guys here real quick. If you didn't get a chance to watch that video, go ahead and brush up on it. But we were entering some very significant areas of support here where this thing had bounced. But yesterday, if you look, it was very close. So my thinking was here's what two things were going to happen. Either this thing was going to rise to the occasion and deliver the goods and bounce off of this level, which is what it has done. Now, I'm still doing this as the market's open. You look at it, it's got nothing pulling back here at all. 550-ish points as I'm doing it. So that's quite a response. That's a very aggressive response. My other thinking was, look, if we lose this level, it's important enough to consider that if this thing were to go lower, that we might end up back down in these levels. So the question that we have to ask ourselves, which I'm sure many of you are asking, do we buy this? Is this buy? Is this a buy? Is the selling over with? Is the bottom in? Hell, I don't know. Guys, I don't know anything. I'm a technical analysis trader. It's day by day for me. But here's what I will say. Yet again, you have another strong bounce. Now, this is not the first strong bounce we've seen since this correction began here in the Qs a couple of weeks ago. You had a very strong back-to-back bounce right here, followed by more selling. So here's what we're going to have to do, or here's what we need to see from, I'll give you both sides. Here's what we need to see. This cannot give this back tomorrow, okay? If you take this bounce right now and give this up like a cheap prom date, you're screwed, man. You are screwed. There would be nothing to me. So why would you bounce now? If you can't build off of this rally and then you lose this and go under, we've got some significant issues. I shouldn't say significant issues. Maybe you're short, and that's exactly what you're asking for. We will visit these areas. I'm pretty sure if that's what happens. Okay. I wouldn't just get over exuberant about this. Okay. It's just one bounce in a cycle. So when markets correct, here's one important thing I want to talk about. Stocks go up and they go down. They follow a rhythm. So even the most bullish stocks, as they're going up, experience pullbacks. We looked at this chart over a long period of time. So when you're looking at the Q, let's just do it again. Let me get the other tool out here. You know, it's experienced pullbacks before. This is not out of the norm, but the overall trend is still very strong. Now, this time it did actually break the trend line a little bit, but it's nothing to be too alarmed about. Corrections happen in the market. At this point, we don't know if what we're seeing here is something that can be built on, or it's just, you know, one of these bounces within corrections, because as they correct, they do the same thing. They go down, bounce, they go down, bounce, they go down, and they bounce. Because you could have said that the other day here. Let me get the other tool. You could have said this the other day when it bounced here. You know, you had two bounces off here. You could have said, okay, that's the bottom. Well, no, it's not. It was not the bottom. So are we going to see something like this, or will this hold up? Again, I don't know, guys. I'm not going to act like I just know everything. I mean, you see some of those tweets that go, this market will continue to go up. And then on March 18th at 2:30 p.m., it will dive. It's like, oh, whoa, okay. Whoa, wow, wow. So here's what I want. Here's what it's okay to give some of this back tomorrow. we got to stay up around this area. You can't be giving up too much of this. If it's able to hold here and build, if nothing else, we should make it back to the next range. Remember, stocks trade from one level to the next, from A to B, then from B to A, right? So you have your A, you have your B resistance up here. If it clears this, it should grind itself back up. Now, if and when we get back up here, we can discuss as to whether or not we think we're going to make another all-time high, one step at a time. But here, bottom line, very strong, solid bounce here today in this instrument. And I'm going to just drop this here real quick. 5-minute chart here I got, just really holding well the moving averages. Nice grind, nice performance, you know. Congratulations, standing ovation for you. I would stand up, but I'm not. Good for you, Qs. Congratulations. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. So, again, let's see. Now, there's a lot of stocks that look like this that have just been bludgeoned, like they've been taken out to the back and just, you know, beaten down with a ball bat. A couple here that I've got on my list here is Workhorse. Maybe this Workhorse is something we can revisit, or I'm just going to visit it because I have to visit it first to actually revisit it, since I've never really visited it first. So here's what we've got. We got a really nice look to this, a pretty good support area. You got some clustering here. Maybe this is a nice little check mark that can move up here. Now, I'm not going to say that any of these stocks are going to make it back up to highs, but there are some that look this way. Zillow is another one that I've been talking about for quite some time. It's got the A-frame pattern. Now, A-frame patterns like this are generally very bearish, but you're still at support. If nothing else, you will get probably a knee-jerk reaction bounce. If nothing else, it will provide us with some cash flow. Now, there's a couple I have on my mind that look like this that I'm not going to show the charts for. I would say Virgin Galactic Space looks very much like this. RDFN looks very much like this, RDFN, and I'm sure you can see about 100 different stocks on your list that look that way. Also, there's still this hefty move back into the travel stocks. You know, we've already talked about that. Looks like there's going to be a recovery. They're beaten down, so these things are just like ready to coil and go. Boeing looks really, really nice here too. You're possibly at least going to challenge the 244s up in this range and possibly break out. And there's some room to run. This thing has been in the doghouse for quite some time. I'm going to back this up just a tiny bit more. But it also looks pretty good too. So Boeing. I can go down the list here. There's probably a lot of them, like PayPal, also with the A-frame. You know, just like Virgin Galactic, just like the other one. PDD, another one here. All of these are laying at support, so these bounces are not... Again, I want to say this, guys. People think there's some sort of magic voodoo and something going on in markets. It's not. They just trade from one level to the next. If you break a support level, you go down to the next support. If you break resistance, you trade upwards. That's all these things have ever done. It's what confuses traders is the path they decide to take on their way there. These look very, very nice. If we get some confirmation, there's at least a small short-term bounce. I'm not going to just buy into a complete, we're done with corrections, but it's a step in the right direction. So as always, guys, I'm going to cut it loose right there. I hope you're trading as well. If you need anything, always feel free to reach out to me. Take care of yourself, trade well, and I will talk to you guys soon.